All right, lesson 4 today. Today we have a couple new vocab words we want to go over. Now, you may have heard these words before. They should be very simple. We actually have a third word, which is actually not on here. That was my fault. But our first word here is population. Okay? Now, population is the entire set of objects from which data might be collected. So this might be like the entire class, or a list of a bunch of plants or animals, or, I mean, this could be basically, this is the whole, the total of my entire thing here, okay? So if I wanted to sample, let's say, Buffside, all the students, that would be the population. Now, from this population, I don't want to, I want to sample them, okay? If I want to collect any data for some sort of purpose of finding the mean, median, mode, any of that stuff, which we're gonna be doing in the upcoming weeks, I wanna take a sample. I'm not gonna want to call every single parent or every single student to find out this information. So I'm gonna do a sample, which is a piece of the population. Now this piece could be, I could sample 10 students, 20 students, just like probability, the more students I sample, the better information I'm gonna have. So when we are doing a sample, we want to make it as random as possible. I don't want to choose the kids that are going to be, you know, oh, let's choose all the kids who play basketball, or I'm just going to choose only the girls, okay? We want to choose as randomly as possible. And Dojo is one of those things that does that. Dojo, as you guys know, chooses randomly who's going to ask the next question in the class, okay? Now, it does it randomly because it puts all the names into a generator and it figures out which name to choose, but it won't repeat the name until it gets to the very end, which is why personally I don't use Dojo as my randomizer. So I just want to talk about sampling today, and I also want to talk about randomness. So first, let's talk about sampling. Now, what is a good sample question? And it depends on what type of sample we're trying to get. So if we are trying to get a numerical data, so something that has a number as an answer, certain questions are really good and others are not really bad. So for example, the first one I have here is, does the soup taste good? Well, that could be a random question because, I mean, some people would say yes and some people would say no, but nobody's gonna say, oh, 5 or 7 or no, 0, 0. They're going to actually say a word instead of a number. So that might not be good. Now, how many movies do students in your class see in a month? That would be a good sample question. Good question to survey the class, because I mean, how many do I watch? I probably watch about, I know, especially now that I'm home a lot more, probably about 15 movies just on Netflix and Hulu alone. But some people would say, you know what, I don't watch any movies. So each person would give a different answer, and we could use that data to sample a class or a group of students, or really anyone in our neighborhood here. Now, the third one I have here, what is the median price of a home in our town? This would not be a good question. And I know you may say, well, this would be an answer. We have an actual numerical answer for this problem. However, there's only one answer. It's not like each person is gonna say a different answer because it's in the entire town, okay? And the last one is, how many pets do people own in my neighborhood? That would be another good sample question right here, because we're going to get an answer that, I mean, for me, I have 2 cats, okay? And some people would say, oh, I don't have any pets. Or I know last year, just from doing this with the current 8th graders, we actually had one person that had almost 100 pets. So we're going to get different people and different answers, so that would be a good numerical question to ask. Now, I did want to try something with you guys, okay? And I know this is going to be weird, but I'm going to ask for your participation. I feel like Dora the Explorer here, asking you guys, hey, answer this. But we're going to play Happy, the song. You guys know that one, right? Okay, good. Happy, I was trying to not do something too old. We're going to play the first, up to the end of the first chorus, and I want us to pick out, we'll say 5 words, 5 random words as best as you can. So,
you might think crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy, I'm alone if you
you actually, sorry, I'm a little out of breath here. If you actually picked out 5 words, this can actually work, because I've done this year after year, and what happens is when we pick out 5 words, we don't actually pick them out randomly, because you're actually going through and picking them out. Now, even if you have them on a piece of paper like I do, you're actually like putting your finger, you're more likely to pick a larger word than you are a smaller word. So take a look at the 5 words you picked out, and we will see if they're actually a good representation of the actual song. So if you take those words, add up how many letters are in each of those words very quickly. Okay, and take that number. I know some of you don't have calculators. If you need to pause the video, that's fine. Take that number, divide it by 5. That is the average length of a word that you chose for this right here. And watch out, there's trees all over the place here. So that is what you believe to be the average length of a word in this song. Now, however, I actually figured out what is the actual average length. And what we have here is the actual average length is only 3.7. So if most of your words were longer than 3 letters long, you did not choose a random word. You chose the words that were the bigger words, like happiness and sunshine and because. All of those words are not what we would consider to be an average word, because most of the words in this, it, I'm, to, they're all really small words. Even words like with and the, air, like, I don't care. All of those words are smaller than all the other ones here. So when we're choosing a random sample, we cannot just choose, we cannot just choose based on just picking, like I sometimes say in the class, and I actually messed some of you guys up this year when I said randomly choosing. I actually said, we need to make sure if I'm going like this, or even if I'm doing any of the blind, I'm actually choosing, I'm not doing it random. Now, how could we make that actually random? What could we do to sample something out here? Now, options we have are to take all of these words, put them on a piece of paper, and, piece of paper that's the same size, put them in a hat and pick them out. That way we can get a random 5 words that way. We also could take these words right here, put them in a word generator. They have a lot of these online. Look on your Chromebooks. You can very easily Google number generator, for those of you that were talking about RNG before we left. Or you could do a word generator where you type in the words or put the words in, and it will randomly choose some for you. Okay, because we don't want to choose just the longest words. That is not a good representation of the entire song here. Now, we have a couple more here, and I wanted to discuss them of whether or not they are good random samples. So I know it's really tough for you to communicate with me, but try to say yes, it's a good sample, or no, it is not a good way to randomly sample these people. So the first of all, we're going to start with all the students in the school. If I wanted to sample this, and I said I wanted to do every 5th student in the hall outside of my classroom, would that be a good sample? Now, I'm not choosing every student. Okay, I don't want to choose just the first students to get to class, because it's always the same every day. That wouldn't be random. I'm choosing one every 5th student. Take a second. Good sample. And if you said, yes, that's a good sample because we're using every 5th, you are, of course, wrong. Not a good sample. Now, when we were actually at our school, we could see that I'm not going to sample all the students in the school. I'm only going to sample the students that are in 7th grade or would have a class on this floor. I'm not going to get all the 5th graders and 6th graders because a lot of them don't walk by my room. Not a good representation of the entire school. It would be a good representation of maybe 7th grade, but not of the entire school. Another one, population of students in your class. This time we are putting the names in a hat and drawing the sample from the hat. This is what I consider to be the best way to randomly sample. We are picking, we are not looking and cheating, we are picking and actually randomly choosing people. We have a couple more. People in your neighborhood. This way we could say those outside the neighborhood at 6 p.m. Not a good sample. People work. People eat dinner at 6 p.m. I mean, I usually eat later, but people do actually eat dinner at 6 p.m. Not a very good random sample. And the last one I have in here is our population is everyone in the room. Okay, I'm actually outside, but everyone in the room, and I want to say we're gonna have everyone toss a coin, and those that get heads are my sample. This is random. We are having people flip a coin. There's nothing more random than flipping a coin. It's 50-50. Some will get heads, some will get tails, and it's not guaranteed that, oh, so-and-so is going to be picked or so-and-so is not going to be picked. We are leaving it up to chance. So that is randomness. Now, I know this is a very long video, so I do have a simpler question for you guys to answer. So hopefully, if you guys have any questions, please leave it in the comments. I will be happy to answer something. This is what I would consider to be a tougher topic to understand, and especially a tougher topic for me to explain. So please, 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 if you don't understand this, leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.